Indiana Jones and Raiders of the Lost Ark is one of the best films ever made. I would actually say Temple of Doom is one of my favorite Indiana Jones movies. I think it's amazing. It's like if Indiana Jones was put into a horror film, which is a brilliant concept. I just think it came too soon as the second one. People were like, whoa, this is crazy. Last Crusade is one of the best movies ever made. Not cinema, not like a Tarkovsky film or Seventh Seal Bergman or something, but a good movie. Um, anyway, so when we were growing up, pre-internet, Steven Spielberg and George Lucas would do these interviews, and they talk about Indiana Jones, the origin of Indiana Jones. They said, well, it was from this afternoon serials that we would watch growing up, and they were sort of like you'd see these it'd be like Zorro or people with like a hat and swinging on stuff with a whip and stuff like that. And so you're thinking, okay, that was the origin. And to some degree it is. I think the whip, essentially, the whip is from the serials. But the thing that we were never really told, and there's going to be some cinema snobs out there, like, what do you mean this is common knowledge? Well, it's not common knowledge to me. So Harry Steele in The Secret of the Inca is I believe it's 1954 film, and it's Charlton Heston, and on the set of Indiana Jones, according to Wikipedia, they showed this film several times, and they showed it to the costume uh, uh, creators, production design, and they copied it one for one. The pants, the jacket, the hat, stubble, and Harry Steele is an adventurer. He's more of a thief because his name is Harry Steele, and he meets this woman, and they team up, and they steal a plane, uh, and he lands, and they even take a bright yellow raft down the river. And after they steal the plane, his gun is the same. He's the same type of revolver. Uh, and they go and on an adventure to find this piece of treasure. The other thing is, in the Last Crusade, I don't know if you remember, there was Harrison Ford gets pulled from the college to look at a relic. The relic in Last Crusade has a corner of the stone missing, and I think it had to do with that cruciform sword relic. The missing corner um, had information on it. He later found it in a catacomb. Well, in this one, he steals a corner of a stone from the museum, and that also has hidden information on it. Um, there's also a character that's a kind of slimier character. Okay, so this is where we're getting Last Crusade missing part of the stone. That's what this is from. And then the map room. We have a map room. We have it's not exactly a headpiece in a stone like Raiders, but it is a reflective disc that reveals the location to the treasure. So we essentially have a map room with a reflective dish and revealing the location to the treasure, which is the kind of one for one Raiders of the Lost Ark. Um, you know, falls for the girl, finds the hidden treasure. Um, there's a double cross. This is pretty typical of the Indiana Jones films. Opening scene, really, to Raiders is the double cross with Belloc, I think. Um, and so anyway, so what I just don't know if they were afraid. I mean, it's a Paramount picture too, so I don't know if they were just afraid to say, "Hey, we're doing a remake of Secret of the Incas, but ours is going to be super cool." They didn't say that. They said, "Well, we're influenced by the serials we watched growing up, which probably slightly predate this. Actually, 1954. I don't know. That's pretty early on. So, yeah, the whip, really, the whips from the serials, and essentially this is a remake. It's not that different from Inglorious Bastards, Tarantino, except Tarantino was like, yeah, I'm, it's my movie, but it's essentially Inglorious Bastards just remade and what he wanted to do. So yeah, this was I think why it's a surprise. A lot of you might be out there if you're like a super cinephile, you might be like, well, I knew this already, but this wasn't. If you grew up with Indiana Jones, like pre-internet, this wasn't common knowledge. You'd have to really know your cinema to understand this. And when they would do interviews, they did not talk about Secret of the Inca and Charlton Heston, Harry Steele, and the Secret of the Inca. So this is not to take away from Raiders. It's just that, like, I think when Raiders came out, you were just like, my God, this is like visionary. It's brilliant, and it is. And if you watch Harry Steele, it's not, it's not quite on the level, but pretty much all the pieces are there. Even when they go to the archaeological dig, they're surrounded by professors and adventurers. As a matter of fact, I think Harry pretends to be potentially an academic or it's something like that. But um, and even in Indiana Jones himself was accused of being a grave robber. So essentially, that's what Harry Steele is here. So again, it very very similar. Um, fedora's the same, jacket's the same, gun's the same. 5 o'clock shadow. Um, so anyway, it's the whole film is online for free on YouTube if you want to check it out. I think it's a very it's a very cool watch actually. It's something to just throw on and take a look at. So definitely worth watching.